Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Kings star sharpshooter status update versus Heat. The Sacramento Kings lost to the Toronto Raptors 131-128 in a thrilling overtime matchup on Saturday, as both teams were missing key players and on the second leg of a back-to-back. The Kings were without starting shooting guard Kevin Huerter, who was ruled out just hours before tip-off due to an illness. Veteran forward and recent addition Doug McDermott surprisingly started in Huerter's place, scoring just 4 points in 15 minutes of action. Sacramento's starting lineup of De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis has statistically been the best five-man lineup in the NBA this season, so it was clear the Kings were desperately missing their sharpshooting two-guard. The Kings travel to play the Miami Heat on Monday as part of a 3-game, 4-day grueling road series, but Huerter's status remains up in the air. Huerter has officially been granted the questionable designation ahead of Monday's matchup in Miami. Through 5 starts this season, Huerter is averaging 11.6 points per game on 48.9/37.5 shooting splits. While he has certainly struggled at times, Huerter is coming off a 7-month hiatus after suffering a shoulder injury that ended his 2023-24 campaign in March. If Huerter is to miss Monday's matchup in South Beach, Kings head coach Mike Brown has another vital lineup decision to make. After replacing him with McDermott on Saturday, Brown would be expected to revert back to 24-year-old defensive standout Keon Ellis to take his place. Jamie Jaquez Jr. blown away by love he received in Mexico City, it was truly incredible. The Miami Heat and Washington Wizards met in Mexico City for a showdown on Saturday, and the experience was seemingly something that small forward Jamie Jaquez Jr. will never forget. Jaquez was born in Southern California, but his background goes deeper. His mother is of Norwegian descent, and his father has Mexican roots. The 23-year-old has Mexican citizenship. He frequently received loud cheers during Saturday's game in Mexico City, and he later said that everyone blew his expectations away. "Everyone blew my expectations away," Jaquez said. "I couldn't imagine this much love being shown to myself and my family. It was truly incredible, and I was happy to see all the fans and get to interact and be able to sign autographs and take pictures with people. I can feel the love and it's very much reciprocated." While Jaquez didn't have his most efficient game on Saturday, he still made an impact and nearly recorded a double-double. He finished with 8 points and 10 rebounds, adding an assist for good measure. His contributions helped the Heat earn a 118-98 victory over the Wizards, moving Miami back over .500 at 3-2. It's early, but the Heat are currently among the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference standings. Jaquez is in his second NBA season after he turned some heads as a rookie. Despite the fact that 17 players were picked ahead of him in the 2023 NBA draft, he was one of the most productive rookies in the league last season, and he finished 4th in Rookie of the Year voting. He averaged 11.9 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 2.6 assists per game last season. Across 5 games so far this season, his scoring and efficiency are a bit down, but his rebounding is way up. He's averaging 9.4 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 2.4 assists per game. There are teams in the Eastern Conference that are more talented than the Heat, but if players like Jaquez can step up this season, the squad could prove to be a problem for other championship hopefuls. The Heat will be back in action on Monday for a home game against the Sacramento Kings. Miami will have to enjoy its time at home while it lasts because after the Kings game, the team will begin a lengthy road trip. It will be a 6-game trip that features matchups against some very capable teams, so fans will have to hope that the Heat are ready for the challenge. Jimmy Butler is a major trade target for the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are probably still a piece or two away from NBA title contention, but the latest rumblings indicate that they may already have a trade target in mind. According to Sam Amick of The Athletic, Jimmy Butler is a name to watch for the Warriors, and they've had interest for years. Yet while rival executives believe the Warriors are more willing than ever to include Kuminga in a trade of significant magnitude, the fact remains that they're setting their sights very high in terms of possible targets, wrote Amick. One name to monitor is Jimmy Butler, the 35-year-old Miami Heat star who league sources say drew interest from the Warriors during the offseason and who did not come to terms on an extension. He'll be an unrestricted free agent next summer. Butler, 35, is at the tail end of a 3-year, $146.3 million contract with the Miami Heat. With 2 finals appearances since 2020, the 6X All-Star has had a lot of success since moving to South Beach with averages of 21.3 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 5.7 assists per game on 49.5% shooting under Erik Spoelstra. But with no championships in the Butler era and last year's defeat in the first round of the playoffs, the tides are changing in Miami and there's a sense that they are reconsidering their future with Jimmy Butler. When the Heat then refused to give him an extension this summer, it only heightened the rumors that they are headed for a divorce. So if the Heat want to trade their star before losing him for nothing next summer, they need to start thinking about potential trades now. Fortunately for the Warriors, they are uniquely equipped to offer a lucrative package. Between Andrew Wiggins, Brandon Podziemski, Gary Payton, and DeAnthony Melton, the Warriors can take on Butler's salary without giving up Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Buddy Hield, or Jonathan Kuminga. As one of the best two-way forwards in the game, Butler would immediately raise the Warriors' ceiling. While he's not the scorer Kevin Durant was, he can still add versatility on both ends of the floor as a 6 feet 6 inches two-way swingman with 13 years of experience. Last season, in 60 games for the Heat, Butler averaged 20.8 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 5.0 assists per game on 49.9% shooting. He often guarded the opposition's best player and set the tone defensively both on the floor and in the locker room. For the Warriors, he's been doing much of the same, only with some backup from Curry and Draymond. With the Warriors, Butler wouldn't have to be the hero every night and he could lean on trusted veterans and champions to step up when needed. For now, it's still too early to say what happens with Jimmy and the Heat, but if the time comes when they decide to part ways, we know that the Warriors will be one of the first teams knocking. His arrival would be a return to greatness for the Warriors and the start of the final act of Curry's career. But until the Heat reach their breaking point, that moment may never come. Over the next few weeks and months, the situation will be one to monitor as the Heat try and figure out who they are and what they have with their current cast of players. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.